motion be now put.
Honourable David Cunliffe.
Chairman, I appreciate this. This is my first call on this bill, and I hope the first of many in this committee stage. I've come to the House because I'm extremely concerned about it. I'm extremely concerned because I once held the office of Minister of Health, and I'm trying to imagine a health parallel for this bill. Imagine public money going into a private hospital where, by special dispensation from an Act of Parliament, they had unqualified doctors, unqualified nurses, medicines that didn't have to go through MedSafe, that were never trialled. Just imagine putting your family into a hospital where you couldn't, by law, have access to your medical records. It sounds so preposterous, Mr. Speaker, that it's creating excitement, even disorder around the House. But, Mr. Chairman, that is exactly what this bill says about education. From the people who bought you NovaPay, from the people who bought you the Christchurch schools debacle, the people who bought you the record number of unfunded contingencies in the education budget, and the people who bought you increases in funding for private schools while cutting money for public schools, they are bringing you the big granddaddy of them all, the innocuously sounding Education Amendment Bill. This is the thin end of a very, very dangerous wedge. This is the idea that private for-profit interests are going to be on the take for public money with no scrutiny, no financial accountability, no curriculum, no qualifications required for teachers, no qualifications required for principals, and you've got to ask, what is an appropriate title for this ridiculous piece of rubbish? And the answer is, how about the Education You've Got to Be Joking Amendment Bill? This is so ridiculous, it's like some neoliberal Martian, let's call him John Banks, landed on planet Earth and thought that they were going to lay waste to public education because they just hate anything with the word public in it.
That's right.
This is so ridiculous. Wake up, New Zealand. Your treasured education system is going to be ripped apart into a two-tier, for-profit, discriminate against minorities, discriminating against the poor, pile of rubbish. Pile of rubbish. And if you don't like a two-tier health system, Mr. Speaker, you're not going to like a two-tier education system. Or perhaps, Mr. Chairman, we should call this the Education Death of the Kiwi Dream Bill. Death of the Kiwi dream that the daughter of a doctor and the son of a driver could grow up and have equal access to education and employment.
Point of order.
Mr. Chair, I'm struggling to see how this fits in with the title and commencement of the bill. Perhaps the member could be brought back to the actual clause.
Look, I don't really need any assistance on this. Relevancy is a pertinent issue, particularly on clauses 1 to 3. I'd just remind the member to bring us into his realm of thinking pertinent to clauses 1 to 3.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Of course, we're discussing the title of the bill, and that is an opportunity, as standing orders dictate and as you have before reminded us, to draw together the general themes of what the bill is intending. And of course, that is what we're trying to do by emphasising the craziness of disemboweling the concept of public education in this country. And it's a very serious matter, all hyperbole aside, all jokes and argy-bargy aside. This is a precious thing that we're handling here. This is the idea that Kiwi kids all should have a good start in life. In fact, all deserve an equal start in life. And we know that in our country, we're already too far from that. We know just from recent international surveys, we're now one of the most unequal countries in the entire OECD, the Rich Countries Club. And you know, that Kiwi dream that we grew up with, the egalitarian idea that everybody could have a fair shake of the sab, that everybody deserved a fair chance in life, that is going so fast in this country, and it's going further under national governments. Mr. Speaker, so the Labour and Green opposition parties, we are incredibly concerned by this bill. We're worried that its genesis was, out of a cup of tea, a shabby deal between National and its neoliberal Wet Dream Act partner. Sir, we're worried about...
Point of order, Jami-Lee Ross.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry to labour the point, but I'm still struggling to see the relevance in the members' comments in relation to the...
Oh, here, Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, I know that the member's a relatively new member, but I think relevance...
No, order. Now, look.
Well...
No, please sit down. Please sit down. When the member gets up to give a contribution to help the chair decide, attacking a member on his length of experience is completely outside, because then I think the member is standing up to attack the member, and that's not appropriate. Now, if the member wants to make a contribution, I'll hear it, but he must desist from making comment on other members.
I apologise, Mr Speaker, I was being generous rather than attacking him. I think he'd know if I was.
You must not speak on my ruling.
The point that I'm trying to make, sir, is that the question of relevance is one for the chair to determine, and not one for which points of order are meant to be taken.
And the member is correct on that point. Honourable David Cunliffe.
Chairman, let's take this down to the level of evidence. We've heard from government members that it doesn't matter if they have unqualified teachers in charter schools, and it doesn't matter if the OIA and other forms of accountability to the public for public money don't apply. It doesn't matter if principals don't need teaching qualifications. None of that matters, sir. Well, I think we should look at the evidence. And here is a very interesting study from none other than Stanford University. Now, as it happens, it's a private university. Mr Chairman, that was my first call. Mr Chairman, point of order, Mr Chairman. Point of order, Mr Chairman.
Point of order, Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Chairman, without wishing to create any sense of obligation on your good self, you also have noted that this was my first call on this bill, and you have allowed other members dual calls for that.
Excuse me, please. I'm going to hear the call of Simon O'Connor.
I move that the question be now put.
The question is that the question be now put. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. Ayes have it. Party vote. The clerk will conduct the party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
33 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
2 in favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Axe New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Ayes are 63, noes are 56. I'll put the questions. First question is that clause 1 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. No. The ayes have it. No. Party vote. The clerk will conduct the party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
33 votes against.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 in favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 opposed.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
The ayes are 62, the noes are 57. Clause 1 will stand part. We move to clause 2, and the question is that clause 2 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no.
No.
The ayes have it. Noes have it. Party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
33 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 in favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Act New
1
Zealand.
in favour.
United Future.
1 opposed.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Ayes 62, noes 57. Clause 2 will stand part. The question is that Clause 3 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have a party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
33 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
2 in favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 opposed.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Ayes 62, noes 57. Clause 3 will stand part. I will report this bill without amendment presently. Members, we now move to the Immigration Amendment Bill, and the question is that Part 1 stand part. Any member seeking a call?
Mr.
Darian Fenton.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much for the chance to speak on the committee stages of the Immigration Amendment Bill.